Ho ho ho, ladies and gentlemen, do I have a lot to say regarding that trailer. Hoo hoo! Oh my god, I don't even know where to start, where to begin. Now, if you haven't seen it, I did a reaction with the boys yesterday. I reacted to it after they'd already seen it, just so everyone could sort of take my reaction in, and we could all watch it together and then break it down. But expect a plethora of videos between now and when Season 4 drops, because there's a lot of things I want to cover and a lot of things I want to say. But I want to say, first off, right out the gate, what I love about this trailer is it wastes no time. It wastes no time getting straight into it. It opens up with Johnny putting his cassette into it, Johnny's badass mixtape number 4, and then just times it perfectly with the musical cue. And it's almost as if, right, okay, that's the moment when Johnny's going to go and get his Rocky montage. He's going to go and get that sweet 80s montage. And it's juxtaposed with a scene of Amanda and Daniel, a bit of which we've seen before, where, you know, she's like living in the Twilight Zone. It's juxtaposed with a scene of that, of Daniel and Amanda sat down talking about it, and Daniel's like, if we can get together, if we can be on the same page, then we can absolutely do what needs to be done. And I love the way that that plays out across this trailer, because it shows that there's going to be tension like we thought there was, but it won't just be in the philosophy department, it will also be in the student department, in the sense of our boy Miguel Diaz, and it's paid off in a line that is a bit further along. And you're treated to this panning shot of what we believe now, and I want to thank Strike for mentioning this, because this was purely him. This is basically Miyagi-Do has extended the backyard. It's an extension to fit not just the students, but have their own little training space. And the army is assembled. You've got Daniel and Johnny, you've got Hawk, Sam, Miguel, Dimitri, and the rest of the gang. All in sync, all ready to kick ass. And I'll touch on Hawk in just a moment, because one thing that I have noticed, he is barely in this trailer. He's literally barely in it, and I think there's several reasons for that, of which I will go into. But the trailer pans across as Hawk and Dimitri are working together. Then, you know, Johnny's like, they're all sat there doing the meditation, and Johnny's like, are we really still doing this? And it confirms that Sam is the one that was jumping from building to building. Regardless of how true that is and how that pans out, if you know your Marvel, then it could end very Spider-Man 2-ish, where, you know, someone goes, oh, my back! Oh, my back! So you never know with that. But this is the difference between Daniel and Johnny's approach. And one thing that I'm noticing from this trailer is it's not just the philosophy. It's not just their philosophies are clashing. It's the fact that Johnny is strike first, Daniel is counterpunch. And it feels like from this, and it's given even more weight when Daniel says later on, you cannot strike first with this guy. Because you can't. Terry Silver, you're not going to strike. You can't. You can't strike first against Terry Silver. You just can't. And I think that's what Daniel is trying to get across to Johnny here. And it feels like throughout this trailer, they're biting off more than they can chew. Like they're overdoing it. And they're not overdoing it in the way of, okay, we're actually working towards something. We're going to achieve something. They're overdoing it in the aspect of, okay, we are doing way too much out here. Way too much. And then you've got Dimitri covered in like padding as a guy's kicking him. You know, it would be that scene will actually play out quite well, because Dimitri and Johnny, you know, anytime they interact, they never really get along. So it'll be funny to see the interactions of Dimitri and Johnny as the season progresses. Seeing Johnny do wax on, wax off, and, you know, presumably the wheel technique, and then Daniel doing a mixture of Johnny's badass training. You know, it's not just merging the philosophies, it's having Johnny and Daniel be on the same page. Like, it's cool. And there's a nice shot where the camera pans past Daniel as he's blocking the balls. It looks like Daniel is focused. Like, there'll be a moment where this is the montage. This is 100% in the montage of Daniel and Johnny training each other. And it comes to success. Like, it comes to them working together well. And then we're treated to several shots of the Cobra Kai dojo. And what I love about this particular part is Tori and Kyler and the rest of the gang walk in. And Robby is just standing there. Just standing there ready. And it's almost as if I'm looking at a young Kreese. Like, he's just there. He's just there ready, hand on his belt, looking at the dojo students. Almost with a face of judgment. Like, okay, we need to start having some lessons here for failure. Now, I presume this would be after the house fight. And I think as we all discussed, as I discussed with the boys yesterday, that we all seem to think this is be post the house fight, and Kyler is going to have a moment where he's going to be stripped of his gi, and he's going to have to work to get it back. Now, they won't kick Kyler out because Kyler's too much of an asset. I don't see him leaving Cobra Kai at all. I think he's a perfect fit. I think even in the Season 3 trailer, that was probably one of the things that you could go back. I was so excited for that because Kyler is the perfect fit for Cobra Kai. I love the fact that he was brought back. And he just fits. He fits. He's heavily underrated as a fighter. The only reason he's not put on the same levels as other people is because someone like Miguel, Robby, and Hawk, and Sam would absolutely destroy Kyler. But Kyler against people like Dimitri, for instance, now that could be cool. I know some people want to see Hawk versus Kyler. For me, like, as cool as it would be to see, Hawk would absolutely destroy him. I think he's a perfect opponent for Dimitri, but I'll get into that later. But it feels like this is like a lesson of, okay, you have to work for your gi. And there's a moment later on when it looks like Robby's in like a last man standing situation where he's taking on the entire dojo. Like, Robby shines in this trailer. Robby absolutely shines. Head and shoulders above everyone else. Call me a fanboy, call me what you will. It's just what the trailer presents to us. Robby is front and center at everything. And he has the most dialogue in this trailer next to Kreese. We're treated to shots of Kreese visiting Silver. And I presume there's going to be several sessions where Robby actually takes over training the students while Kreese is trying to go and get Silver to come back. Maybe he's called Silver, and maybe the phone call it wasn't successful. Maybe the phone call didn't bring Silver back. Maybe Silver is hesitant. Maybe the Silver that we're going to have now is not as deranged as he was before. Maybe he's changed. Maybe he's progressed in life. Now, the longer Silver sticks around, the more likely it will be that he goes back to that Karate Kid 3 Terry Silver that we all know and love to hate. But as of this moment, there are a lot of signs of this Terry Silver. While there's progression in terms of his fighting, there's an element to him where he might be hesitant to come back. Maybe Kreese is going there to visit him to bring him back into the fold. Because Kreese, at this point, is like, okay, I need help. Like, Daniel and Johnny against me? Come on, I'm good, but I'm not that good. So Silver coming in, that just adds a whole nother layer to this whole thing. And it's treated with flashbacks to Karate Kid 3 and them to, you know, Cobra Kai never dies. Like, it's brilliant. Silver's doing a little bit of a flex on Kreese there. It's perfect. He's, you know, strapped up with the ponytail. And there's a lovely panning shot through the dojo as they're all bowing in their new Cobra Kai merch. Thank you, Terry Silver, for providing that. 100% he did that. And it's almost like looking at Darth Vader and the Emperor. Like, I know Kreese is, for all intents and purposes, a level above Silver in the aspect that he is OG. But if I'm drawing on a Star Wars parallel, it's like literally looking at the Emperor and Darth Vader. It's literally just a beat for beat of that. It literally looks the same. And Silver's line of, I'm just making sure that, you know, we win this time. This is why Cobra Kai needs to win. Because Silver's not coming back 30 years later to lose. And Silver will do whatever he has to do. He'll do underhanded tactics. He'll play people against each other. He'll turn people against each other. He'll cause unrest in the Miyagi dojo, in the Eagle Fang camp. He will cause a lot of unrest between the people. And one of the people I feel that he is going to specifically target is Hawk. I think Hawk is in line for an absolute killer arc this season. Now, the reason I think he won't not be in the All Valley is because he was in the All Valley teaser, shirtless, doing kicks. And I don't think they would put that out there if Hawk wasn't in the All Valley. The question is it Hawk that shows up to the All Valley, or is it Eli? Maybe Hawk says, look, Eagle Fang will always be badass, but maybe Miyagi-Do might be where I'm better suited. You never know. And that could add to the tension between Daniel and Johnny of like, hey, you know what's best for Miguel? Which I'll get into in a bit. But then we are treated to moments of Robby. And I love this moment where he's teaching the Cobra Kai students wax on, wax off. And this is what I've been saying about Robby's character for the better part of a year now. You will all see what I'm saying. Robby is the character who understands context and nuance. Because he's the one that says, later on in the trailer, everyone thinks their way is the right way. The truth is, it's about what works for you. He's right. He's not wrong. He's right. He's absolutely right. Johnny thinks his is the best way. Daniel thinks his is the best way. Cobra Kai thinks theirs is the best way. Robby's had a bit of everything. He can see the bloodlines between both. And when he's like, to beat the enemy, we've got to, you know, basically play by their playbook. What I love about this is it means two things. One, it means using the enemy's strategy against them, showing the dark side turn of Robby. But two, it shows that the training that he went through with Miyagi-Do, it's still there. And that could also lead into two separate things. One, it leads into his progression as an anti-hero and him going his own path down the road. Or two, it plants the seeds for his redemption, because then he's reminded that Miyagi-Do did amazing, like, it did wonders for him. But also at the same time, Cobra Kai's method has done wonders for him, as we saw in Juvie. So there is that element to it. And he's teaching it to Tori. And just on the character of Tori 1 second. I have been asked a load of times, do I see Tori beating Sam in the All Valley? I'm still sticking with no. At this moment in time, I don't think she holds a candle to Sam. But I use this example a lot. This is an example that I like to use a lot, so everyone pay attention. Qui-Gon Jinn in Star Wars versus Darth Maul. Qui-Gon Jinn is leaps and bounds above Darth Maul. Arguably one of the best Jedi that's ever lived. However, big however, what happened, right? What happened to Qui-Gon? He was killed by Darth Maul. And the real reason isn't that Darth Maul is better. The real reason is that George Lucas wrote it into the plot and the plot demanded it. The plot demanded that Qui-Gon die. Does that mean Qui-Gon's useless and that he sucks? No. It just means that Darth Maul got the edge of him in that fight. So could there be a world where Tori beats Sam? Yeah, of course. Again, but it has to be earned. It has to be something that's not done for the sake of it. But with it being Cobra Kai's season, it isn't completely off the table. It isn't completely off the table. Do I think it will happen? No. Because Sam is the GOAT, and that's that. But, at the same time, we don't know what we're in store for. You know what I mean? Like, remember that example I just gave? Darth Maul killed Qui-Gon, but he's not better than him. Like, you see what I mean? Circumstance, environment, it plays a lot into it. But I love the fact that Robby's using his teachings. He's not just forgetting his Miyagi-Do roots. He's still integrating it with who he is now. And I love the idea of this show is about hybrids, you know? And it's almost as if Kreese is proud. Like, you know, hey, you're using that technique, good on you. And then we're treated. I love, that's probably going to be the phrase I use most, is treated. The moment where Silver and Robby are training together had me hyped more than anything else, because I love this. I absolutely love it. It's almost as if it's in the same vein as when Robby tried to attack Johnny. I think what's going to happen is they're going to explore Robby's weaknesses, and they're going to improve him. So we all know that Robby is probably number 2, second to Miguel, arguably number 1. You could make a case for that. In group fights, Robby struggles. They will address that, and I think they'll have Robby take on the entire dojo. I genuinely believe they will have Robby in a last man standing against at least 80% of the other Cobras, and he'll win. He'll still be standing. That then will solve the problem of him fighting in large groups. The second problem is him one-on-one fighting an older opponent. And if you look at the way he fights Silver here, while it's sparring and it's training, it's almost as if it's in the same vein of when he tried to attack Johnny. It starts with the sliding kick on the floor and the lunge forward, and Silver just completely knocking him on his ass. It's going to be training him, focusing him on that. He will be getting one-on-one lessons with Silver. And I think Tori will too. Kyler will definitely shine as well. But I think Robby will be the focus. They'll go, okay, Robby is the weapon. Robby we need to focus on a lot, because he is the key. Remember, in the last All Valley, Robby didn't have no army, just the right moves, to quote Daniel. And he almost did it. Almost did it, if it wasn't for Hawk. And again, that leads into Hawk being the power piece that you move across the chessboard that turns the tide of the battle. Silver knocks him on his ass. We hear the line, a man can't stand, he can't fight. And he says balance is crucial. And it feels like with this Silver, while he's the same, there's a layer of difference to him. And I think that's what's going to be great about him. There's going to be a different kind of Silver that we're seeing. And then we get the reunion. We get the reunion of Silver and Daniel. Now, before this moment, it's up in the air whether Daniel knows that Silver is back before this. But I would be fully on board with this being the moment that it's revealed. Silver and Kreese showing up, silken jewelry, saying, "Hey, Danny boy, look who's back." And the following scene after this is Kreese saying to Johnny, you know, "You're playing second fiddle. What is this?" And that adds to the tension between Johnny and Daniel, because it's almost as if, hey, if you were with me, you'd be number one, sir. You would be number one. But you're second fiddle here. You made your choice. Tough. It would be even funnier if he says... Could you imagine if he says, "This is your last chance, Johnny"? But there's going to be even more tension because of that. And there's a great shot of Miguel and Daniel training, the Karate Kids. And there's a shot of Miguel with Johnny out of focus. And then it puts Miguel out of focus and Johnny in focus. Seeing the two of them bond, adding to that jealousy. I've been saying this for the longest time. As much as it's funny that Johnny and Daniel bicker, this could be the reason they lose. Like, they will come together at a point. They'll go, okay, let's stop being childish. Let's come together. But I do honestly feel like there will be a moment where it starts to be really apparent that this is the reason Johnny and Daniel lose. I really feel like that. Then yeah, he says, "So you know what's best for Miguel?" Like, it's playing on Johnny's mind, and that's what Kreese is good at. He's good at bending things to his will. He's a master manipulator. We then cut to the prom. And this is the bit that I'm worried about, because every season there's one episode where there is a lot of love drama. And I just hope we're not in for that again. Like, I could just totally see, like, some Spider-Man 3, Bully Maguire, nightclub, Gwen Stacy dancing going on. There's pictures of Kyler and presumably Piper has come back. I'm not sure what arc that will play. Maybe that'll link to Moon and Hawk. But I'm very skeptical of this prom, because I just want the kids to have fun. Just let them have fun for once. There doesn't always need to be a bust-up. I'm very hesitant about it. There's a moment where Terry Silver is like looking forward into the camera, like he's staring into your soul. It's such a haunting image, because it's almost as if maybe this is Terry Silver's complex. I see Terry Silver like Hawk. Hawk and Terry Silver are very, very, very similar. The only difference is with Terry, maybe now he's buried that part of himself, and maybe he's a better person. But maybe as time goes along, that old Silver starts to creep back in and take over. That's what I could genuinely see happening. And Silver's line to Daniel about, you've got a little bit of Cobra Kai in you. Like, oh, chills. Chills. And it just literally harkens back to when Silver and Daniel were opposite each other 30 years ago. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Then we're even more treated. So comment that down below, treated. This is, again, talking about what I was saying about Robby. Is everyone thinks their way is the best way. The only thing that matters is what works. He's 100% right. He's bang on. He is bang on. And I know this is going to go over most people's heads. And they're going to go, no, Team Cobra Kai. No, Team Miyagi-Do. No, Team Eagle Fang. Our team wins. Our team wins. Woo! This is the problem. It's something like that will go right over everyone's heads. It's all about what works for you. And in Juvie, Cobra Kai worked for Robby. Saving Dimitri, Miyagi-Do worked for him. It's all about what works for you in whatever moment and in whatever capacity. Dimitri's training with Daniel. Dimitri's going to get more of a come-up. And then Robby is like unleashing on Kyler. Like Kyler, and I don't know who else that is with him. But it looks like Robby's going to town on them. He's absolutely going to town. And I feel like this is after that moment where Robby is standing there at the front of the dojo holding his belt. And I think this could be a training session where maybe Robby's taking them all on. He's maybe punishing Kyler for losing like he did in the house fight. And again, I don't think Kyler's going to be kicked out at all. I think this is just part of Kyler's little subplot to re-earn that gi. Like, that's all it is. You will see Kyler get some development this season. I firmly believe it. I like Kyler's swag. I like his attitude. I think if you don't like Kyler... Like, I mean, come on. He's a douche. Like, he fits. He's perfect for Cobra Kai. And he can back it up. He's a fighter. He works. He's got a unique style that works for him. As I said, this is Cobra Kai's season. I mean, Robby, Kyler, Tori, Kenny, like, come on. Gotta go all in. Gotta go all in. And the song choice for this, Rock of Ages, fantastic. There's a moment of Miguel sitting down with Johnny and Carmen, and it is almost like in Far From Home, when Peter is sat down with Aunt May and Happy Hogan, and he's like, okay, how long has this been going on? Let's just get right to the bottom of it. That's essentially what this is. It's basically that. Kenny, I feel, won't have a major role in the season, but I think Kenny will be the example that even Cobra Kai can help victims of bullying. And Robby will take Kenny under his wing. Now, we did discuss this yesterday, that it would be really convenient if Kenny was Sean's brother. Let's say, for example, if Sean is Kenny's brother. It would add that emotional, personal value for Robby to look out for Kenny and take him under his wing. But I absolutely prefer the idea of Kenny being this kid that is caught up in this cult-like gang karate war that is literally just trying to navigate his way through school, and he's picked on, he's bullied, and Robby looks out for him. I would prefer that Kenny is just an unknown character, completely new, unattached to anything else, because the problem I have when you link characters to other characters, and you do it all the time, is it makes the universe feel smaller. It makes the world building feel smaller. Someone like Kenny coming into this gang war, being involved in it but not involved in it, adds to Robby's character and gives him that idea of responsibility. I've been talking about this a lot. That Robby's main issue is he lacks accountability. He has it for a little bit and then he runs away from it. So looking out for Kenny will give him responsibility, and it will show him perspective from his father, from his mother Shannon. It will give so many layers to Robby, but then it will also warm us to Kenny. Now, Kenny could be that annoying little bastard that deserves to get his ass whooped, or maybe he could just be a harmless, sweet kid that's caught up in this conflict, that is now drawn into it and has no choice but to get involved. I love the idea that Robby would look out for him. And Kenny could be like the Rey Mysterio fighter of the group. You know, the little mini fighter that no one expects to be anything and turns out to be pretty good. You know, there's a lot to be excited for with Kenny. You know, really a lot to be excited for. I'm looking forward to seeing what dynamic Kenny brings. Now, Hawk, right? Hawk. Hawk looks like he's eyeing Kenny and Robby like up and down. And I've noticed throughout this trailer the absence of Hawk. Do I think this means that Hawk is going to get injured? Well, he's going to get injured regardless, but do I think this means that he's out of the season in any way? No. I think it's only going to mean that maybe they're just hiding him, or they're just using shots that don't have him in it. There is something big in store for Hawk. There is something extremely big. As I said, the way Season 3 went, Hawk's progression and Hawk's development, you do a disservice to the character by throwing it out the window. I think Hawk is in line for an absolutely astonishing arc, and I think he might be one of the best in Season 4. It could be him turning to Eli, it could be him getting his mohawk shaved and recovering from it, it could be him getting absolutely bodied and then showing up in the All Valley as like a surprise appearance. Like maybe he gets injured around mid-season, you don't see him for a couple of episodes, it's All Valley time, and then he's like, hey, you weren't going to do this without me, were you? All hands on deck. There are so many ways you could take Hawk's character. This is why Robby and Hawk are my two favourites, because there's so many layers and dynamic complexities to them that you could go in any flipping direction and it would still feel earned. If you wanted to make Hawk a goody two-shoes, you could do it because Eli was. If you wanted to make him Dark Hawk, you could. If you wanted to make Robby a good guy again, you could. If you wanted to make Robby an evil little bastard, you can do that too. That's why these characters are the best. Like they aren't so black and white. And what I love is the moment after this is Robby and Kenny are just like looking with intensity forwards. And I think this is all a misdirect. I think this scene is playing out a lot differently than what we're all expecting. But if you look at the look on Miguel's face, someone might have said something, but if you look at that look, that's Season 2 Miguel. That's when, after the forest fight, and he whoops Hawk's ass, that's that look. That's those shades of that evil dark side Miguel. And I love that. I freaking love that. Because even though Robby's with Cobra Kai, it doesn't... Let's not forget here that Miguel has a dark side too. And even Carmen herself said it in the Season 2 premiere after the All Valley. She said, there were some things I saw, I wasn't sure I liked what I saw. Because there are parts of Miguel's character, while he's the good guy, the heart and the soul, there are elements to him where he has that aggression, he has that dark side. Like we all do, but he has that dark side to him. And I do feel like, to counter Robby's dark side, there could be something on the cards for Miguel there. There could be something that really pulls at him, where he's really struggling to not do anything. As they say, you know, we won't fight each other till the tournament. Maybe this is them just, you know, okay, we won't fight, but it doesn't mean we can't fuck with them a little. We can't mess around with them. Maybe they said something insulting to Miguel. Maybe they did something to Dimitri again. Maybe they did something to Sam or Hawk. Because if you look at Miguel's face, he don't look happy. He looks pissed. He looks like he's about to throw down there and then. Then, as it progresses, we get a lot of bowing shots and the title card. Then we get to this moment here where I am genuinely... I don't want to over-speculate what this is. This is the moment where, okay, this decision will change the course of the All Valley forever. And you've got that brilliant introduction, as I called months back how it would be introduced. You've got a demonstration from Cobra Kai, Sam, and, you know, Eagle. They're all going to do demonstrations. I've seen someone say, will they be fighting with weapons? No, they're still going to be just basic karate. But it's mostly a demonstration. They do that at karate tournaments all the time. But if I was any kind of betting man, I would say that they're removing the point system. I'd say it's whoever goes down. And that's where Hawk comes in. I think Hawk is going to get the Apollo Creed, not death, but he's going to get the Apollo Creed treatment. I think he's going down in that mat. I think something seriously bad's going to happen to him. I think you're going to see Hawk take the most beating out of everyone. Purely because everyone is gunning for him. Everyone. Like Cobra Kai's #1 in Miguel's place. You know, loyal Cobra. Then he turns on them and fights against them and damn near injures them. You can take this all the way back to Shakespeare. When something is personal, it's much more dangerous and threatening to be in that mix. And I think Hawk will be the one that goes down, but he won't go down saying I quit. He won't go down saying I give up. He'll just go down. Like then he'll be carried off on a stretcher or something. Like I think that could be the route they go. They remove the point system. Because what else could it be? There's nothing else I could realistically seeing it be other than removing Daniel off the board, putting Terry Silver on the board. You never know. But again, that's mostly what my overall thoughts are with this trailer. I absolutely flipping adore this trailer. It's probably one of my favourite trailers ever. Do I think it's better than the Season 3 trailer? I'm going to say no, because the Season 3 trailer to me is so... It means a lot to me. It kickstarted everything that I've achieved this year, and I will always look back on it with that nostalgia. But this trailer is badass. Every character gets shine. Every single character. And I cannot wait for where this is going. I think it's going to go... It's just going to be even better. But there is a 6-season roadmap from what we understand. I still think this will be the best season out of the 6, because it has the most layers, the most depth, and it has a dark side ending. If you want me to be completely honest, it has a dark side ending. Hawk goes down, injured. Oh my god, is he going to recover? Robby's won. F you, Dad. F you, Daniel. Silver's won. Kreese's won. Kyla's in the corner going, so rubbing it in. Tori's rubbing it in that she's doing... Like, all these things. You know, all these little things. So guys and girls, do me a favour, jump in the comment section down below, and remember, we're marching forward to 6k subscribers over here, so if you're a fan of Cobra Kai, Marvel, Star Wars, or anything pop culture, you're in the right place. Kings of Pop Culture, this Sunday, we're going to have some brilliant topics to discuss. We're going to be talking about DC, we're going to be talking about upcoming watch parties, we've got some more Christmassy type ones coming up soon, so make sure you're there for that. I will see you all in another video soon, and let me know down below what you thought of this trailer, what was your highlight moment, what stood out for you, and how hyped are you for Season 4. And remember, I'm gonna say my old tagline, one of my first video taglines. Defeat does not exist in this dojo, does it? No, Sensei.